If everyone likes you, then most likely you're not standing up for yourself. And that's the fact, because in the past couple of years, I've learned that the minute I start to stick up for myself, people started to get mad. And getting mad they did. It's been quite a week, and I want to talk about self-respect, self-trust, and self-love in this video, because in the past couple of days I have certainly pissed a lot of people off, and not because I was doing something wrong, but only because I was choosing to respect myself and do what was best for me. A lot of times we do tend to try to please other people, try to put other people first, and in the process we ended up losing ourselves. Now, this topic reminds me of what just happened to me last year when I decided that the environment that I was living in was not serving me and I wanted to get out of it. I want to experience something different and I wanted to move. And although people understood why I did it, they understood the reasons, I started to get feedback such as, oh, well, if you fail, you could always come back here. And because I also quit my job when I moved, unbeknownst to me until now, people were thinking that I was being selfish because I was leaving them behind. And this is exactly what I mean when I said people will start getting mad at you because you're choosing yourself. Because the minute that they find out, instead of congratulating you for making that move or congratulating you for pursuing your goals, they will automatically start comparing you with themselves, and they will start to try to bring you down to the same level that they are. One thing I really did notice since I started to show respect to myself more, started to trust myself more, is that it is pretty lonely when you start to learn to please other people when they know that you're no longer prioritizing them over yourself. Then people will start fading away. But really, I did not let that hold me back. I did not let those negativity, feedback, and people wanting to keep me where I was holding me back. However, me in my 20s or my early 30s, I would have taken those feedbacks so seriously. I would seriously be doubting my decisions. I wouldn't be respecting my own decisions. I would listen to people influencing me about who I should be dating in the past. I would listen to people telling me about what I should do for job. And sometimes I even pursue those suggestions even though I didn't want to, just because I wanted to please other people, to follow through what the society was expecting of me. But I am so glad I'm not that person now, because otherwise I will be stuck in a place where I am not happy, complacent, and very stuck. And I think when we talk about self-respect, one of the most important part about self-respect is respecting your own heritage. My mom is with me for the next few weeks, so we are going to go to Asian grocer and we are going to cook together, because we don't get to do that very often, as I am now living in the US and she's still in Thailand. The next thing I want to talk about is the correlation I see between reaching your potential and self-respect and self-trust. But before we do that, let's go to the grocer and we'll come back to the chat. Now, because I was a people pleaser for a long time, for the majority of my life up until a few years ago, during that time, I also felt like I wasn't living to my full potential. And I don't think I've heard anyone say this before, but I think there is a correlation between your ability to live up to your fullest potential and the level of self-respect that you have for yourself. I mean, think about it. In order to live up to your fullest potential, you have to have that certain level of confidence and respect from other people. And how are you going to ask other people to respect you, trust you, and believe in you when you don't even trust yourself or respect yourself? The way that you carry yourself shows other people of how they can treat you. I am in a place where I feel like I'm on a journey to living to my fullest potential, but it also comes at a cost of being in a place of being uncomfortable, because sometimes people may not agree with me and may not validate my decision, but I need to still do what I think is the best, because I need to show them that I have that respect for my decision. And if we don't have that without self-worth, it is so easy to feel lost and so easy to constantly seek for other people's validation, or bending ourselves to fit other people's expectations or society expectations. And that's kind of what you have to do if you really want to live to your fullest potential. And sometimes you may feel like no one has got your back because you're choosing your own path, you're choosing your own journey. But know that even though no one has got your back, you have your own back, because no one is thinking about us as much as we do. What are you cooking today, Mom? Curry. Building self-respect and self-love is actually an ongoing process, and it is very hard because we're just so used to being comfortable, we're so used to being liked. Most of us naturally just seek for that external validation. And I also find that if you do something that is so out of comfort zone, for example, when I took over this business that I am now running and owning, initially I was just not respecting myself at all. I would bend myself backwards. For certain group of clients, I will be so afraid of making any changes because I know they wouldn't like these changes. I would also be bending backwards for some of my employees, and there are times that of course you have to make sure that the clients are happy, but essentially my responsibility is to make sure that the business thrives. And by being so scared of making any change just to please certain group of clients, I wasn't doing any favor for the business or for myself or for the employees, those are in my care. With that being said, here's some of the tips that I can give you that I am constantly working on to make sure that I am truly putting myself first and truly trusting myself. Self-esteem is about loving yourself, but self-respect is about how you show that love to yourself. So you might say that you love yourself, but you have planned to go to the gym, but after hours of your friends convincing you to go out for a few drinks instead of going to the gym, you ended up saying yes. And while you still love yourself, so you still have that self-esteem, you didn't show that love to yourself, and therefore you didn't respect yourself. You didn't prioritize yourself first. So therefore self-respect really is acting in accordance to your values. So tip number one is to clarify really what your values are. What do you value most in life, and whether or not your daily actions are contributing to those values. I'm going to pull up on the screen here all the common values that people have, but for me, my values are freedom, boldness, integrity, wisdom, and harmony. And therefore every single day I need to make sure that the decisions that I make and the actions that I pursue are in alignment to these values, and that shows that I have a respect to myself, to my values, and to my identity. Secondly, and this was something that I worked on for a long time and still working on because I'm not a perfect individual, and that is always speak up for yourself. Now, in my 20s and my early 30s, I always thought that if I spoke up, then I may come across as being aggressive. There is actually a huge difference between being assertive and aggressive. And speaking up for yourself, sometimes it could just mean that you are asking questions to understand why your needs are not being met. You absolutely can still be nice and polite while speaking up for yourself and being assertive. For example, instead of just saying to your friends that no, I don't want to go out drinking because that's not what I do, you can say something along the line of, I appreciate you thinking of me, but I have other plans that I can't change, and so unfortunately I won't be able to join you this time. And while we're talking about friendships, it makes me think about relationship, and that is the third tip, which is to keep inventory of all your relationships. Self-respect, I find, starts with people that you decide to spend your time, energy with, and the people that you choose to have in your life and in your heart. You need to ask yourself if the people around you are building you up. Are they celebrating your success? Are you being treated by them the way that you want to be treated? And if not, then you might have to set better boundaries with these people, or you might have to part way with some. Now, this is a topic that maybe in the future I'll dive more into this, because I recently had to part way with some of my friendships because I felt like I wasn't being treated the way I want to be treated. But at the end of the day, although the decision was very, very hard and I was very upset, I had to make the decision to show the respect for myself, to stand for my values. I am going to get changed quickly, and I am going into both of the salons now just to see how things are going. It's Saturday and it's the end of the week. Normally the girls will do some big cleaning, so maybe I want to be able to help out a little bit as well. I hope you guys are staying safe and have a wonderful day no matter where you are. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.